Hello, can you hear me? Just let me know when we want to start, and then I'll hit the.
All right, we are recording.
All right, welcome to the very last board meeting of 2019 for the continuing committee. I am Maggie Geppert, the current chair and executive officer. Thank you all for joining us today. Let's go ahead and get started with our attendees. So hosting the meeting for us, Justin, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
Justin Ford, Residence Utah on the boards, CFO.
All right, and then Brian.
Brian Schaefline, Jeebus on the boards, Director of Operations.
And Charlie is muted again. Charlie Plain, Midnight Lich on the boards. Our Director of First Edition is also here. He's been having some audio issues. So let's go ahead and get started with the agenda. So first thing on the agenda, just to approve the meeting minutes from last time. I took a look at them. I didn't see anything that was weird. Anybody else see anything strange? All right, can we get someone to move to approve the minutes?
I'll move, but I don't think we can approve without Charlie's audio working.
Uh-oh. And we can't see him either, so he can't like nod his head. Oh, there he is. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, sorry. I'm here. Charlie Plain, Midnight Lich on the forums, Director of Winnie. So.
All right, can we have a second to approve the minutes then?
Sure, I will second them.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, cool. Minutes are approved. Let's go ahead and do department reports then. So Charlie, go ahead and give us a rundown of what's going on in First Edition right now.
Sure. We'll be releasing Project Nataf very soon. There's a last minute change that has to get stamped on, approved, but assuming there are no red flags with that, it's very, very close. And Project Takar, which is the next full-size expansion, is coming along nicely. There's one particularly troublesome card that we just decided to jettison and redo, so that needs to get looked at. But it should be moving into actual production here pretty soon. And then Project Londo, which is the TOS Klingon set, will be moving to testing probably in the next couple weeks. Looking beyond that, we have a Project Storm planned, which is going to be sort of a non-block themed expansion. Christopher Wicker's leading that. And then we're going to be doing the movie block. We're going to make some changes to that, and I'll be posting details about that soon. I'm working on this massive article report to go up, and it's getting there, but the holidays took more time than I planned. So I have to finish writing that. All in all, I think it's good. Things are going well. Austin's getting settled in as the new playtest manager. We're going to be interviewing some candidates for the rules manager here once the new year ticks over. And I know we didn't put out a lot of new cards in 2019, and that's definitely something we need to work on and do better. We've already made some changes to our plans behind the scenes to make that more reliable. But there are lots of new cards coming, so your patience will be rewarded. Overall, I'm pretty happy with where Winnie is at, and looking forward to getting through the POR. Speaking of, there hasn't been a lot of activity on the Winnie period of review thread, so if you guys have questions or concerns, go over there and post them so that you can make sure we see them and can get them answered for you. All in all, I'm fairly happy with one. Real quickly, since I'm currently also managing promos, there is an important piece of information. Our current promo printing provider is having issues that has really slowed down our ability to print promos. So that means that we focused on getting the league promos printed, but we haven't done any of the new promos for 2020 yet. We usually would have had them all done and ready. That's going to be delayed somewhat. So I'll have an article up on the 6th explaining what's going on, why there's not a new set of promos. But essentially, we need to figure out, if the printing as is going to be able to return, if we're going to have to switch to something, and if that's going to be more expensive, and how that impacts things. So until that information is clear, we're sort of not able to print new stuff in the volume that we want. So just FYI. And that's all I have on that.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Charlie. So Ross, for second edition, so the biggest news on second edition is that Ross Fertel, faithful reader on the boards, did resign as director of second edition. So we have Charlie has very graciously volunteered to run the search for director of second edition. If you are interested in being on the search committee, please PM Charlie, and we'll have more information about that search coming up very soon. In the meantime, there is some activity happening in second edition. So our latest set, Inheritance, came out yesterday, was released yesterday, Friday. I forget what day of the week it is. Released on Friday. This was our second edition's tribute to the 25th anniversary of the Star Trek Customizable card game. We had, Lucas Thompson, Sean O'Reilly, and Danny Giddings all punched up 25 popular first edition cards into second edition versions. This set's been pretty well received so far, and it will be tournament legal next Friday, January 3rd. So if you haven't seen those, go check them out. They are pretty awesome. So the rest of let's see.
It's Lassie, I think.
Yeah, so right now things are in production. Lucas Thompson and Fritz Meisner had a few months ago, for the last couple of months, have been very hard at work on a set of 8 balanced demo decks for use for new players. We will be headquarters, a couple of other useful cards for those demo decks coming up soon. So we should expect to see those officially released. Although if you look at the Lucas's decks that he's made public, you can find all the demo decks for yourselves there already. They're out in the wild, so just go and look. So if you've got friends you want to demo to, go PM Lucas, and he can help you find all those brand new, really nice balanced demo decks. So those are designed with the idea that a new player could learn on this deck, and then they could take that deck to a tournament and, maybe not do well, but at least win maybe a game or two. So, and then there's instructions on them on how to customize those games. And we'll be putting out more articles and stuff, although I think you'll be seeing much more first edition stuff in the new year. So those are working on it, and we have. So I was helping with that, but Lucas and Fritz did the heavy lifting on that. We are now working on revamping the virtual starters. So one of the things that I've noticed as we've been doing the last couple of that the sealed deck tournaments are super popular at Gen Con. It's getting very, very difficult to find new product for those sealed tournaments. Edict Draft is really fun. I love Edict Draft, but it's not the greatest format for people who are super casual players and just want to come in and sit down and play a game. So I've been working to design some balanced starters that could be used in those sorts of tournaments and supplemented with packs from the virtual pack creator. So those are in playtesting right now. If anybody wants to try them out, see if you like them for a sealed deck tournament for your own group, let me know. I'll send you the links to them. And yeah, so they're, definitely in beta right now for those. So that's another project that's going on there. So last thing on the report. Oh, and I should say with Inheritance, Ross mentioned this in his report. With Inheritance, thank you, Art, for the spectacular work you did. That if you guys didn't see Spot, oh my God! So Art did a fantastic job on those. Thank you very much. And last but not least, the set Project Lassie, which is the 50th second edition set, is still in playtesting. So I don't know when that's going to move into production, but there's a few cards that are still getting cleaned up, worked on. So that's still in playtesting, and we'll expect to see that early in 2020, within the next few months. So that's our second edition report then. Let's see. I also have a report from communications from Daniel. So the writing team just finished a series of articles for Inheritance. They are waiting to receive the Project Natath for articles. And then we're still looking for a writing team manager and a chief ambassador in the communications realms. So if you are interested in working on either of those, heading up either of those teams, that would be awesome. We have not so far received any applicants for the open position of chief ambassador. So if you're interested in that position, please consider applying. All right. Let's see. All right, operations. What you got for us, Brian?
It looks like Dan has mostly caught up with the Promenade orders. Everything up to the middle of November, it looks like, have shipped. So if you haven't gotten your stuff yet, it should be on the way. Let's see. What else? Want to thank Justin and Charlie for their help getting the website domain switched to a different provider. That was a bit of a last minute scramble, but they helped get it done. So thank you guys. What else? There's not been a lot of movement on the website front. After the new year, I'm hoping to get back to that. I've been doing a couple small side projects. One of them is kind of an advanced search engine for folks who want a little more power to search for cards. I could, if you guys want, I could do a small demonstration of that, or we can just move on because I don't think there's anything else to discuss. What do you guys think? Maggie, Justin, Charlie?
Be good. Oh, Maggie's muted.
Oh, looks like she froze. Well, okay, I'll show it anyway. Let's see if I can do this properly.
Sorry, I was muted.
No, it's okay. Let's see.
But we will. We're gonna have another day because he's off work. I'm off work. We're gonna have another day this week where we make more cards, do more scrapbooking. So expect to see League promos soon in stock in the store.
Maggie, if you were talking that whole time, we did not hear most of it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you hit a dead spot.
I must, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm in Litchfield, Illinois, so it's corn all around. Let's see, corn. Miracle of modern technology, though. I'm sitting in a car talking to y'all. All right, Brian, you got it?
Sure. Let's see. I'm gonna share my screen here. If I can figure out. All right, there's a button. Can you guys see this? Anybody see this?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's say, for the sake of argument, I'm looking for optimal people to pass ancient computer and microvirus. It's got these different requirements, right? 2 computer skill or 3 science or 3 engineer. Currently, that's not an easy search on the website. You could search for one of these things. You can search for, 2 computer skill. You could search for 3 science. You could search for 3 engineer, not necessarily all together. And then you throw in this curveball of a whole nother set of requirements, medical and security, not easy. I'm working on this advanced search engine, which would make this sort of thing possible. You could select skills, blah, blah, blah. I haven't implemented everything yet. This is sort of alpha, first very small working version. But as you can see, I'm listing computer skill greater or equal to 2, science greater or equal 3, engineer greater or equal 3. You can select, if you want all of those things to happen all at once. So you're looking for one person with computer skill 2, science 3, engineer 3. You're not going to find that person. I'll just spoil that right now. But this is a way to build a customized search for the user, essentially. If we submit this, I don't know that we will find anyone. No, that's asking far too much. But if we do so it'd be anyone who passes the first requirement or anyone who passes the second requirement will get probably quite a few results because medical and security or computer skills. So you'll just get this list of people who match that requirement. Anyway, this is just about the entirety of what I've managed to implement so far. So there's not much more to see, but that's just a general idea of what I was working on a couple of weeks ago. I need probably a solid week of work to put into this to actually make something that works for all of the features of first edition and second edition, but that is one of the things I'm working on going forward. And I don't think I have anything else to show, so I will stop sharing. And we can move on to whoever's next.
Okay. So thank you. That's cool. All right. So then next is organized play. Chris had a quick emergency. Apparently there's much ice in Minnesota right now and relatives in need of help. So he wasn't able to make it today. I don't have a report for him, but there's not a lot going on with organized play right now. Christmas time is pretty much dead time. I'll promote his charity draft on the 4th though. So they're having their annual charity draft and auction up in St. Paul next weekend. So you can bid on items. You can PM him and bid on items. He usually has some pretty cool stuff up there. All right. So Justin, what about financial?
I mean, it's been just like similar up here, been fairly quiet as of late. Mainly would probably like to get a list of what we're going to need going into the 2020 championship season, because haven't had any requests for supplies needing to be purchased or invoices lately. So definitely would like to get a list of what we're going to need going into the season so we can plan accordingly. and see if there's anything left over we can do to either support Gen Con or other European or Australian endeavors. Because that was I think one of the main issues with the communities, having the organization actually support tournaments, and see if we can make that possible. So I would like to get a list of stuff for 2020 soon rather than later, if we're going to do those mouse pad playmats for Tribbles, or if we're going to do the full-size playmats, or if we're going to stop doing the playmats and do something else. So we need that list sooner than later. I can get with Chris on that. But yeah, other than that, it's fairly quiet. We're all trucking along. Website, we've got plenty of website up. I think if we stop doing sailing promos, I think we'd have probably enough funds to keep the website up for like 3 to 5 plus more years, just with the money we have. So we're doing good.
All right, good. So, yeah, I mean, we can work with Jeremy to see if he can get us an inventory. If we need rainbow paper, if we need the regular foil paper. I have plenty of penny sleeves and baggies for packing stuff. So I'm fine on that inventory. If anybody out there wants to send me more backers, I'm always happy to have more backers. So that, but yeah, I mean, I'm fine on supplies for assembling promos for the moment. But I don't know what Jeremy has. And but we will need buttons and play mats for the Masters and Continental series and stuff like that.
When do those start, Maggie?
Oh, go ahead, sir.
When do the Masters and Continentals start? Like, when do we need the mats by?
The year of Cardassia, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure when. I think the first Masters that I know of is the Michigan Mayhem, which is in April.
Is it New York in March?
Oh, possibly. Yeah. So if we can get the I know we just saw all of the regional promos and masters promos go through proofreading. So if those sets can get sent to Jeremy for printing on the rainbow promo foil, that would be great.
It's Year of Cardassia, right, for 2020, Maggie?
Yes.
So
yes, it's Year of Cardassia.
If you want to get me the image for the playmats, I can go in and we can get those ordered. So New York is not, we're not scrambling to get New York their stuff.
Yeah, Charlie should have all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, no, because nobody decided if we're doing the mouse pads or not. I mean, there's nothing got ordered because I didn't know what we were doing. So we have to make those decisions about what.
Let's do a written discussion of that then, so that we can at least get all the details on paper.
Okay, well let's make. Okay, then we'll do that offline. That's fine, but I'm fine with the Tribbles playmats.
The mouse pad, or
doing the mouse pads, yeah. But yeah, we'll do that online. Let's get the prices down and all that good stuff. All right. So, any other discussions of playmats and things like that?
Just if we pick another vendor, it has to be the same size. Because Johnny won't want to redo it. So.
I think we'll probably stick with the same vendor because their price, when you include shipping and shipping delays, it's works out almost the same. So there's no point changing at the moment.
Okay. So we'll decide if we want to do the mouse pad size and get that done, and then get them ordered. So.
All right, excellent. And those can get shipped to my place because I'm going to be just shipping the Masters kits.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's easier for me. I track that better than Dan does now. All right. So next thing on here on the agenda is the progress of the investigation for the accusation of bias against non-Americans during the Director of Second Edition previous one. So Greg Dillon was our investigator. So Justin contacted Greg and asked him to investigate this question of whether or not there was bias on the committee against non-Americans while this search was going on. Greg is happy to be, sent me this report, so I'll go ahead and read it out for you. I was contacted by Justin Ford and Maggie Geppert about investigating the possibility of bias in the selection of the 2E brand manager in 2016. I was provided with the applications of the 4 applicants for 2E brand manager, as well as PMs that Charlie Plain, CC chairman at the time, sent or received about the selection. I asked some questions to selection committee members. Was not able to see the sorry, my grandma's calling me. I did not see the interviews of the applicants. The reason that is because the chairman for that selection committee computer crashed and those disappeared, unfortunately. Based on the evidence and my personal judgment, my conclusion is that there was no perceivable bias for or against any applicant in the decision for 2E brand manager. So we can write that up as an article for everybody to see. Greg is fine with being known as the investigator of record on that. Any comments or questions about that? All right, then period of review. That's the next thing on the list. I am still looking for moderators for the period of review. Neil Matthew has volunteered to moderate for the open mic call-in show. We haven't gotten very many questions from, for first edition for organized play. I have 3 pages of questions for me, and there's a lot of questions for second edition. So I think what we may end up doing is just 3 broadcasts, one for where I answer the questions posed to me, one where we do a broadcast for second edition, and one that's sort of like the omnibus edition. So just because there's not a lot of questions for, really no questions for communications, ops. There's one question for you, Justin, but that's about the bias investigation, not about the financials, which we just answered there. So I don't know how you guys think about just 3 broadcasts this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in doing separate broadcasts if the content isn't there to support it. So.
Right.
And hopefully the omnibus one or whatever we want to call it, we can all get on at the same time. The scheduling, I suppose, would be the only issue.
Yeah, so I'll put up a doodle poll for that. It'll be mid-January for the omnibus one. So maybe like the I guess the 18th, and that would give us 2 weeks for people to see the broadcasts before the vote happens. Starts February 1st.
Cool.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
All right. So I'll do that when I get home tonight. Put up a poll for that for everybody to attend. And yeah, if you are interested in moderating, please contact me by PM. I will be happy to take on anybody who is not currently volunteering in a particular area may join the omnibus edition. Or excuse me, may moderate. Whew. All right, coffee is kicking in finally. All right, let's see. So promo printability. Charlie, everything good on promos?
Yeah, everything that was supposed to be printed on January 6th is already done, including the 2 series of promos that were incorrectly flagged. Though Johnny nailed them all done. They're all done. So they should be, they're in Chris's hands, and I will make sure to remind him incessantly so they go up on the 6th. So.
Awesome.
What are the odds that we have missed any? That's a weird question.
Okay, so I went back through the entire promo list, and there were a couple that weren't flagged properly, some release promos for TUI, but as far as I know, everything is caught up now. There may be some hidden stuff buried. I don't think so, but I'm sure we have a couple promo hounds on the forums that will make sure to let me know immediately if I did miss something, and we'll get them done if they are. But I think I went through and checked everything I could think to check. So I can't guarantee that I caught everything, especially if there's a weird corner case. But everything that's on the actual promo list that should be printable in January is going to be that should be printable in January or earlier is now going to be printable. So.
Cool.
All right. Thank you for managing that task, Charlie. I really appreciate it.
Sure. You're welcome.
All right.
Wait, what about Tribbles, Maggie? Any news on Tribbles? Have we have any news on Tribbles or?
Just what Charlie said last time, which was that there's a new set of Tribbles that's about done, and if we release, it'll be April 1st, the traditional Tribble day.
Yeah, I sort of firmed that plan up since then. I'm gonna. It's mostly done. I want to make a couple changes because I had another group take a look at it, and then I'm gonna send out the file one more time. So I've got 2 testing groups. If you're out there and you want to try some new Tribbles, let me know. But I'm gonna send those out here in the next, by mid-January and get them wrapped up so that they can be made, and then we'll do the April 1st drop release for Tribbles, and then I think that will put us back on an annual Tribbles release schedule. I do want to do some research into some of the concerns that people have brought up, like about the game getting away from its roots, and see if there is a solution that we can implement. I don't really think Tribbles 2nd edition or Tribbles OTF are the paths we want to take, but maybe there is a smaller format that we can do that makes sense, and decide how we want to move forward on that. But we got to get this next Tribbles set out, and it's going to be, the plan is to do that April 1st. So, which I think is a weird day this year. I mean, every day is weird if you think about it, but April 1st is a Wednesday. That's where we're at with Tribbles.
All right, cool. All right, so the last thing I had on here was the new business, was just the selection for the 2nd edition brand manager. Charlie, I think you have a really solid plan for the selection committee and, transparency and openness. Are you able to tell us more? Or are you still working things out?
I want to get the first. I'm way behind. Like I said, the holidays ended up chewing up a lot more of my free time than I thought. So I didn't get to finish the articles that I was finishing. I'm going to try to make that a priority this week. I'm going to outline everything in my initial article. So I think I'd just rather save it for there and take questions in print rather than say something wrong on this broadcast and ended up contradicting. And so, but basically the plan is to only involve people that are willing to be public about the participation. So like no secret panel, and it's going to be a larger selection panel, and we're going to require a supermajority to approve someone rather than a simple majority. So whomever ends up being selected is going to have to get the majority of the selection panel behind them, or we're just going to keep iterating and deliberating,
Any chance of ranked choice voting?
We'll probably do something like that in the final, and yeah, probably, because that's just such a cleaner way to do things. But even so, I'm going to require they're going to the threshold to get it is going to be, you know, high. It's not going to be, you know, a group of 4 people decide they want to pick this person and force it through. They're going to have to, you know, to use a tired political analogy, reach across the aisle. If we do end up in camps, it's going to have to be close to unanimous. I mean, ideally, the candidate would be unanimous, but I suspect that's unrealistic. So anyway, I will have an article up soon recruiting selection committee members and outlining the process. And everybody out there will have the chance to comment on that. And then we can make revisions before we actually start the search. So I'm trying to be, the goal here is to just be open and forthright. And no secrets. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Charlie. That was it. That was the only thing we have on for new business. So any other issues from anyone in attendance? All right. So then for so I have down that the last Sunday of January then is the 26th. So that's going to be our tentative meeting date for the January meeting. And so can I please have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, seconds. All right. All
Brian
right.
seconded. I don't know if you heard. So.
Anyone opposed to adjourning? Yeah, Brian did second. I must be in another dead spot. All in favor of adjourning?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. All right, cool. Then that closes out the December meeting of the continuing committees for December of 2019. Thank you all for watching.